Welcome to today's lesson. We are looking at introduction of indices, and the first thing to tackle on these indices is the divisibility test. Earlier on, we had looked at multiplication and division algorithm. So with the divisibility tests, it makes our multiplication and division easier by knowing if the number is divisible by whatever number you want to divide with or not. So before we look at the divisibility tests, we need to know what do we mean by a number being divisible or a number not being divisible. We refer to a number, we say a number is divisible by another number if there is no remainder after division has occurred. So if we do not have any remainder, then we say the number is divisible by whichever number that was dividing it. So when we were looking at division algorithm, just a sample, if I'm having a number like 15,465 divided by 2, we need to find out if that number is divisible by 2 using the division algorithm. So let us just work out the division algorithm for this, such that I have 15,465 divided by 2. So 2 into 15, that is 7. 7 times 2, we have 14. When we subtract 15 minus 14, that is 1. We carry it on to the next number, which makes it 14. So 2 into 14, we have 7. We'll have 2 times 7 is 14. That is, we subtract, we get 0. So we carry on to the next number, that is 6. 2 into 6, we have 3. 3 times 2 is 6. When we subtract, we have 0 and carry on to the next number, which is 5. 2 into 5, that is 2. 2 times 2, we get 4. 5 minus 4, that is 1. So we discover that in this case, we are having 15,465 divided by 2 is equal to 7,732. Remainder 1. So what is happening is that we are having 15,465 as our dividend to the number which is dividing this 15,465 is our divisor. Then the number of times 2 can divide 15,465 is our quotient. And finally, whatever has remained is referred to as a remainder. So we are talking about a number being divisible, and we are simply saying this: if there is no remainder after complete division has taken place, then that number will be divisible by whatever digit that is available. But like in this case, it simply means 15,465 divided by 2, we have a remainder. So it means our number 15,465 is not divisible by 2. Instead of going on into all this process of working out to find out if my number is divisible by 2 or not, we have the divisibility tests for numbers. So we just take a look at the divisibility tests of these given numbers and find out how will they help us in this division process. So the first divisibility test we have is the divisibility test for 1. And it is important to note that all the numbers are divisible by 1. There is no number that is not divisible by 1. 1 divides all the numbers. So what do we mean? That divisibility test for 1 is simply that all numbers are divisible by 1. The next digit we have is 2, and the divisibility test for 2, this is what we are supposed to know, that all the even numbers are divisible by 2. So for a number to be divisible by 2, then the last digit of that given number should be an even number. That is, the even numbers, so we are simply saying that all even numbers that is, our last digits should be 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. So those are the last digits that should make up a number for it to be divisible by 2. So when you are given a number is written down. For you to confirm if the number is divisible by 2 or not, just check on your last digit. If the last digit is 0, then the number is divisible by 2. If the last digit is 2, then the number is divisible by 2. If the last digit is 4, the number is divisible by 2. If the last digit is 6, then the number is divisible by 2. If the last digit is 8, the number is divisible by 2. So we are simply confirming what is the last digit you have. But if the last digit will appear as the odd number, that is 1, 3, 5, 7, and so on, then it means our number will not be divisible by 2. So the last digit is the determinant for us to know whether the number is divisible by 2 or not. Divisibility test for 3. How do we know if a number is divisible by 3 or not? So what will happen is, for the divisibility test of 3, we are simply confirming the sum of the digits in that number. So if you add up the digits making up the number, then you get that the digits are divisible, the sum of that digit. The sum of the digits in that number is divisible by 3, then the number will automatically be divisible by 3. So we are saying that the sum of the digits if the sum of the digits is divisible by 3, then the number will be divisible by 3. Divisibility test for 4. For a number to be divisible by 4, pick the last 2 digits of that given number. Divide the last 2 digits by 4. If the last 2 digits will be divisible by 4, then it means the entire number will also be divisible by 4. So 4, you just confirm the last digits, the last 2 digits of that given number, the number formed by the last 2 digits. If the number formed by the last 2 digits is divisible by 4, then the number is divisible by 4. So here we are confirming Next, we have divisibility test for 5. Divisibility test for 5, we are simply confirming the last digit. If the last digit is either 0 or 5, then it shows that the number is divisible by 5. So just check the last digit. Is the last digit 0 or 5? If the last digit is 0 or 5, then the number is divisible by 5. But if the last digit is any other number apart from 0 and 5, then it means that the number is not divisible by 5. So a number is simply divisible by 5 if the last digit is 0 or 5. For a number to be divisible by 6, it must be divisible by both 2 and 3. So you just carry out the divisibility test for 2, carry out the divisibility test for 3. Find out, is the number divisible by 2? Is the number divisible by 3? So if the number is divisible by both 2 and 3, then it means the number will also be divisible by 6. So for a number to be divisible by 6, it must have passed the divisibility tests for 2 and 3. The next number is 7, and up to this moment, there is no easy divisibility test for 7. All the divisibility tests for 7 that are available are quite tedious. So there is no easy divisibility test for 7 that is available currently. The next number is 8, and to confirm whether a number is divisible by 8 or not, the last 3 digits are the numbers that will determine whether the number is divisible by 8 or not. So the number formed by the last 3 digits, if the number formed by the last 3 digits will be divisible by 8, then it means the entire number will also be divisible by 8. But if the number formed by the last 3 digits is not divisible by 8, then it means the rest of the number is not divisible by 8. The next number we have is 9, and if to find out if the number is divisible by 9 or not, we are simply carrying out you simply add the digits that are making up the number. So the sum of the digits that are making up that number, if that sum is divisible by 9, then it means the number is also divisible by 9. So you simply add the digits that are making up the number. So if the sum that we obtain will be divisible by 9, then it means the entire number is also divisible by 9. Lastly, we have divisibility test for 10. And a number is divisible by 10 if the last digit is 0. So it is just simple, confirm your last digit. If the last digit is 0, then the number is divisible by 10. So after we've carried out, we are now aware of the divisibility tests, let us just look at some workings that will involve the divisibility test. So some few examples that will confirm our divisibility tests. So the first question is, we confirm whether or not the following calculations are possible without leaving a remainder. In short, we are just supposed to confirm, is the number divisible by whatever digit that is written there. So we are confirming whether 54,327 is divisible by 3 or not. Divisibility test for 3 is a number is divisible by 3 if the sum of the digits making up the number will be divisible by 3. So we simply get the sum of our digits and find out, is the sum of these digits divisible by 3? If the sum of the digits is divisible by 3, then the number is fully divisible by 3. But if the sum of the digits will not be divisible by 3, it means that there will be a remainder in my division. So let us find out the sum of our digits. That is 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 7. 5 plus 4, that is 9. 9 plus 3, we have 12. 12 plus 2, we have 14. 14 plus 7 is 21. So the question is 21 divisible by 3? And we get that 21 divided by 3 from our division algorithm is 7. So 21 is divisible by 3. So if the sum that I've obtained is divisible by 3, then it means, it therefore implies that 21 is divisible by 3. So if 21 is divisible by 3, then automatically the number that is here, that is 54,327, is also divisible by 3. So we are simply getting the sum of our digits for divisibility test of 3. Find out the number formed. Is it divisible by 3 or not? If it is divisible by 3, then the number is divisible by 3. But if it is not divisible by 3, the number will not be divisible by 3. Our case, the sum gives us 21. 21 divided by 3 is 7. So 21 is divisible by 3. Then automatically 54,327 is divisible by 3. So we are having 765,146 divided by 8. We need to find out if this number is divisible by 8 or not. So we have the last 3 digits. Divisibility test for 8 is that the number formed by the last 3 digits, if it is divisible by 8, then the number is divisible by 8. But if it is not divisible by 8, the number will not be divisible by 8. So we simply confirm what is the number formed by our last 3 digits. So our last 3 digits is 146. So we find out, is 146 divisible by 8? So 146 divided by 8, 8 into 14, that is 1, because of 1 times 8 is 8. 14 minus 8, we have 6. So we carry it on to the next number to make 66. 8 into 66, that is 8, because of 64. That is 8 times 8 gives us 64. So 66 minus 64, we have 2. So we discover that 146 is not divisible by 8. Why am I saying that it is not divisible by 8? Because we have a remainder. When we have a remainder after complete division, then it means the number is not divisible. So 146 is not divisible by 8. Since the number formed by our last 3 digits is not divisible by 8, then it means the entire number 765,146 is not divisible by 8. We have 39,245,678 divided by 4. So we need to find out, is this number divisible by 4 or not? So a number is divisible by 4 if the last two digits, the number formed by the last 2 digits is divisible by 4. So we find out what is the number formed by our last 2 digits. The last 2 digits in this number is 7 and 8. So the last 2 digits forms 78. So we find out, is 78 divisible by 4 or not? So 4 into 7, 1. 1 times 4, we have 4. 7 minus 4, that is 3. Carry it on to the next number, we have 8. 4 into 38, that is 9. 9 times 4, we have 36. 38 minus 36 gives us 2. So we discover that in this case, we also have a remainder. So 78, which is our number formed as the number formed by the last 2 digits, is not divisible by 4. So since 78 is not divisible by 4, then it follows that 39,245,678 is not divisible by 4. So we need to find out 25,756 divided by 2. If 25,756 is divisible by 2 or not. And we talked about a number is divisible by 2 if the number is an even number, or whatever we are simply saying is our last digit, if the last digit is 0, 2, 4, 6 or 8, then the number is divisible by 2. So we find out from the number given, is our last digit 0, 2, 4, 6 or 8. If any of these digits appears as our last digit, then our number is divisible by 2. And we discover that our last digit in this case is 6. So since the last digit is 6, and 6 is an even number, so our last digit is 6. The last digit being 6, it means that this number is divisible by 2. So we have 51,345,678 divided by 5. We need to find out, is this number divisible by 5 or not? So we discover that a number is divisible by 5 if the last digit, for a number to be divisible by 5, the last digit should either be 0 or 5. So we are simply confirming, is our last digit 0 or 5? If the last digit is 0 or the last digit is 5, then it means our number will be divisible by 5. But if not, then the number is not divisible by 5. So we discover that our last digit in this case is 8. So the last digit is 8. So it means this 8 is neither a 0 nor a 5. So since the last digit is not 0 and it is not 5, then it automatically means that our 51,345,678 is not divisible by 5. So we have 215,364 divided by 6. We need to find out, is our number divisible by 6 or not? A number is divisible by 6 if it passes the divisibility test for 2 and 3. So we just confirm, does our number pass the divisibility test for 2 and 3? So divisibility test for 2, this number will be divisible by 2 if our last digit is either 0, 2, 4, 6 and 8. So we find that our last digit is 4. So our last digit being 4, it means that this number is divisible by 2. Next, we need to confirm, is it divisible by 3 or not? A number is divisible by 3 if the sum of the digits formed by the number is divisible by 3. So we find out what is the sum of the digits in this number. So we have 2 plus 1 plus 5 plus 3 plus 6 plus 4. 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 5, 8, 8 plus 3, 11, 11 plus 6, 17, 17 plus 4 is 21. Let's just confirm. This is 3, 8, 11, 17, 21. Yeah. So that is 21. So we find out is 21 divisible by 3, and we get that 21 divided by 3 gives us 7. So since this number is divisible by both 2 and 3, then it automatically means the number will be divisible by 6. So it has passed the divisibility test for 2. It has passed the divisibility test for 3. So since it has passed the divisibility test for 2 and 3, then it means our number is divisible by 3. It is divisible by 6. It has passed the divisibility test for 2. It has passed the divisibility test for 3. So the number is divisible by 6. So we have 56,789 divided by 9. We find out if the number is divisible by 9 or not. A number is divisible by 9 if the sum of the digits will be divisible by 9. So we are simply going to add the digits that are making up the number and find out is the sum divisible by 9 or not. So we have 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9. 5 plus 6 is 11, 11 plus 7, 18, 18 plus 8, 26, 26 plus 9 gives us 35. So 35 divided by 9, we find that 9 does not divide 35 fully. We have a remainder. So the fact that we have a remainder and the fact that there is a remainder, then it means that 35 is not divisible by 9. And since the sum that has been formed is not divisible by 9, then it means that the number is not divisible by 9. So we are having 56,789 is not divisible by 9. So we are having a digit and we just need to confirm whether the digit is divisible by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10. So that is the task we have. So the first number we have is So we are having 48,500,000 569,412 to find out, is the number divisible by 2? A number is divisible by 2 if our last digit is 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. So we find that our last digit in this case is 2. So it means this number is divisible by 2. We want to find out, is our number divisible by 3 or not? A number is divisible by 3 if the sum of the digits making up the number is divisible by 3. So it means we get the sum of the digits, that is 4 plus 8 plus 5 plus 6 plus 9 plus 4 plus 1 plus 2. So when we add, we get that this is 12, 17, 23, 32, 36, 37, 38, 39. So we get 39. And we get that 39 divided by 3 will give us 13. So since the sum of the digits is divisible by 3, the number is then divisible by 3. We find out if the number is divisible by 4. A number is divisible by 4 if the number formed by the last two digits is divisible by 4. The number that is formed by the last two digits in this case is 12. And 12 divided by 4 is 3. So it means the number will be divisible by 4. Find out if the number is divisible by 5. A number is divisible by 5 if the last digit is either 0 or 5. So our last digit is 2. It means that it is neither a 0 nor a 5. So it means this number is not divisible by 5. Then we find out if the number is divisible by 6. For a number to be divisible by 6, it must have passed the divisibility test for 2 and 3. And we discover that our number has passed the divisibility test for 2. It has passed the divisibility test for 3. So it means automatically this number will be divisible by 6. We find out if our number is divisible by 8. The number is divisible by 8 if the number formed by the last three digits will be divisible by 8. So we find out which is the number formed by our last three digits. The number that is formed by the last three digits is 412. So 412 divided by 8. 8 into 41 is 5. 5 times 8, that gives us 40. 41 minus 40 is 1. We carry it on to the next number, which makes it 12. 8 into 12, 1. 1 times 8 gives us 8. 12 minus 8 is 4. So we find that we have a remainder in our division. And since we have a remainder, it simply means that this number is not divisible by 8. So we find that it is not divisible by 8. A number is divisible by 9 if the sum of the digits is divisible by 9. The sum of the digits, we had already done it. And we got that the sum of the digits is 39. So our question is 39 divisible by 9? And we discover that 39 divided by 9, we are going to have a remainder. 9 into 39, that is 4, because of 36. 4 times 9 gives us 36. So 39 minus 36 is 3. So we are having a remainder in our division. The sum that is formed by the digits is not divisible by 9. So it means the number will not be divisible by 9. Divisibility test for 10. A number is divisible by 10 if the last digit is 0. And in our last digit, the number is 2. So it means that this number is not divisible by 10. Maybe one last example on the same. Let us find out if this number is divisible by the digits that are here or not. So we have 28,080. We need to find out, is it divisible by the digits that are here. So for a number to be divisible by 2, our last digit should be 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. So we find that our last digit is 0, meaning this number is divisible by 2. For a number to be divisible by 3, the sum of the numbers should be divisible by 3. The sum of the digits in that number should be divisible by 3. So our digits are 2 plus 8 plus 0 plus 8 plus 0. So 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 plus 0, 10 plus 8, 18 plus 0, 18. So we get that the sum of our digit is 18. 18 divided by 3, 18 divided by 3 is 6. So 18 is divisible by 3. So since 18 is divisible by 3, the number is divisible by 3. We find out if our number is divisible by 4. The number to be divisible by 4, the number formed by the last 2 digits should be divisible by 4. So our last 2 digits forms the number 80. 80 divided by 4 gives us 20. So since 80 is divisible by 4, 80 divided by 4 is 20. So 80 is divisible by 4, which is the number that is formed by our last 2 digits. It means that the number is divisible by 4. We find out if it is divisible by 5. A number is divisible by 5 if the last digit is either 0 or 5. Our last digit is 0, which means that this number is divisible by 5. Then next, a number is divisible by 6 if it passes the divisibility test for 2 and 3. And we discover that our number has passed the divisibility test for 2. It has passed the divisibility test for 3. So it means this number is divisible by 6. We want to find out if our number is divisible by 8. A number is divisible by 8 if the number formed by the last 3 digits is divisible by 8. So our last 3 digits is 0, 80. Divided by 8, what we are getting is 10. So we find that the number is divisible by 8. The last 3 digits, the number that is formed by the last 3 digits is divisible by 8, which automatically means that the number is divisible by 8. A number is divisible by 9 if the sum of the digits is divisible by 9. The sum of our digits was 18. And we discover that 18 divided by 9 gives us 2. So since the sum of the digits is divisible by 9, then the number is divisible by 9. Then a number is divisible by 10 if the last digit is 0. But in this case, our last digit is 0. So since the last digit in this case is 0, then it means our number is divisible by 10. So from our calculation, we find that the number is divisible by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10. So winding up our divisibility test, we look at divisibility test for 11. How do we tell if a number is divisible by 11 or not? For you to find out if a number is divisible by 11, then we get the sum of the alternate digits. After getting the sum of the alternate digits, we get the difference. So if the difference of the sum of the alternate digits is 0, 11, or a multiple of 11, then our number is divisible by 11. So we simply get sum and get the difference between the sum of the alternate digits. So an example, that is question 3, we need to find out, are the following numbers divisible by 11 or not? So the first number we have is we are having 2,594,669. We need to find out if it is divisible by 11 or not. So we get the sum of the alternate digits. These are the alternate digits in this number. 2, 9, 6, and 9 are alternate digits. Then the others are alternating on the other side. So getting the sum of the alternate digits, so we have 2 plus 9 plus 6 plus 9. So 2 plus 9 is 11. 11 plus 6, we have 17. 17 plus 9 gives us 25. Then the other alternating digits, we have 5 plus 4 plus 6. 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 plus 6 is 15. So get the difference of the alternating digits, that is 25 minus 15, which gives us 10. So the difference is not a 0, it is not 11, it is not a multiple of 11. So what does it mean? Since it is not a 0, 11, or a multiple of 11, then it means this number is not divisible by 11. Another number we have is 14,641. We need to find out if it is divisible by 11 or not. So we find the alternating digits in this number. So 1, 6, and 1 are the alternating digits we have. So we have 1 plus 6 plus 1, which gives us 8. Then the other alternating digits are 4 and 4. So 4 plus 4 gives us 8. So we have 8 minus 8, which gives us 0. So 8 minus 8 is 0. And our conclusion was a number is divisible by 11 if the difference of the sum of the alternating digits is 0, 11, or a multiple of 11. So we find that our difference is 0. Since the difference is 0, then it means that this number is divisible by 11. So far, we've been tackling the divisibility tests. We've looked at divisibility test of 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, and 11. What does it mean? You might come across some calculations that you need to find out, or you have to divide a portion, a certain item, into different portions, and you need to find out which number or how many number of portions will you divide it. So having the knowledge on divisibility tests will make your thinking easier, because you will be able to tell, is your number divisible by either 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, or 11. So finding out the divisibility test will make our work easier, even though I know with the emerging or the technology, we now have calculators that have made our work easier. But supposing you are not in a situation whereby you don't have that calculator. So if you do not have a calculator, then the only option we are left with is knowing the divisibility test. So these divisibility tests will help us in the process of the division process. Thank you.